Chapter 5, Example 1. Suppose the class took a 40-point quiz. Results show a mean score of 30, median 32, IQR 8, standard deviation of 6, minimum 12, and Q1 of 27. Suppose you earned a 35. What happens to each statistic if I decide to weight the quiz as 50 points and will add 10 points to every score? Your score is now 45 points. Now this is some simple math, but there's one thing that's going to catch us we'll forget about all the time. Get it through your head now, it will help significantly down the line. There are two things that can happen when we're shifting data. We can shift it left and right by adding values or subtracting, or we can multiply by a constant value. When you shift position, like move everything to the left or the right on a graph, only the measures of position will change. For example, the minimum will change, the maximum, Q1, Q3. But the standard deviation does not change. The IQR does not change. Measures of spread stay the same when you're simply adding or subtracting, because when we add or subtract, we're just shifting the graph, we're moving it. The Q1 and the Q3 shift by the same amount, so the distance between those two values stays the same. The minimum and maximum both shift to the left or to the right by the same amount, so the distance between them remains the same. We want to find the mean, the median, the IQR, standard deviation, minimum, and Q1 for this data. The mean score was 30, and we're shifting every statistic by adding 10 points, so the new mean will be 30 plus 10, or 40 points. The median is 32. This is a measure of position, so I'm just going to add 10. 32 plus 10 equals 42 points. IQR, measure of spread, not of position, so the IQR remains the same, 8 points. Standard deviation remains the same, 6 points. The minimum is a measure of position, so I'm going to add 10. 12 plus 10 is 22 points. Q1, measure of position, 27 plus 10, 37 points. I decide to weight the quiz as 80 points and double each score. Your score is now 70 points. So I'm doubling. We're not shifting here. We're multiplying. We're scaling it up. In this case, measures of spread will change because if my Q1 is 10 and my Q3 is 20, I multiply both of those. So Q1 becomes 20, Q3 becomes 40. Now my IQR has doubled. So the distance between them doubles because I'm scaling everything up. I'm stretching it out. So we're going to find the mean, median, IQR, standard deviation, minimum, Q1 again. For my mean, I just multiply by 2. So 30 times 2 would be 60 points. Median, 32 times 2, 64 points. IQR, 8 times 2, 16 points. Standard deviation, 6 times 2, 12 points. Minimum, 12 times 2, 24 points. Q1, 27 times 2, 54 points. So when we're scaling up, when we're stretching everything, we just multiply all the values by that constant amount. I decide to count the quiz as 100 points. I'll double each score and add 20 points. Your score is now 90. So we're doubling and adding. I'm going to multiply all the values, but I'm only going to add that 20 points to the measures of position. Again, we're going to find the mean, median, IQR, standard deviation, minimum, and Q1. For the mean, we'll do 30 times 2 plus 20, which equals 80 points. For the median, we'll do 32 times 2 plus 20, 84 points. For the IQR, we'll do 8 times 2, which is 16. Again, that was a measure of spread, so I'm not adding. Standard deviation, another measure of spread, I will not add the 20 points, I'm only going to multiply. Standard deviation is 6 times 2, which is 12 points. The minimum is a measure of position, so I will multiply and add. 12 times 2 plus 20, 44 points. Finally, Q1, also a measure of position. 27 times 2 plus 20 equals 74 points. And that's it. Remember that you do not add to measures of spread.